defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
They say when it rains, it pours. It is Thursday. I'm intending to Skype in live during the lunch hour today. I'm taking care of some family things that have come up. Obviously, there is a complete war going on globally against free independent nations and independent individuals and families. There is a biological war against the human unit of men and women themselves, openly declared. This is a biological, chemical, psychological, spiritual, declared war against humanity by the parasitic elite who believe the whole planet just belongs to them. We should just roll over and die. To watch CNN with their fake polls that don't match with any other real polls going, oh, look, the American people trust the media more than Donald Trump, when the U.S. media and Gallup and other polls has a 8 to 9% approval rating, lower than Congress. We're talking about mainstream media. I mean, it's just crazy when you go to CNN's homepage. And they're like, look at the plastic feminism of Trump's women. Trump's women. Yeah, the plastic feminism of women that are successful, good-looking, rich, involved in their communities. Nothing they ever do is good enough for the globalists and all their simpering hatred. And then just all these articles constantly saying it's time to impeach, it's time to go after Trump. How dare we ever deport anybody that's here illegally? And then Trump keeps explaining we're going to go after criminals that have committed crimes. They just keep saying, no, they're going after this woman at a church. She wants sanctuary. This poor woman. They're going to go after her and her 3 little kids. They want to hurt her. You know, meanwhile, they just ignore the coyotes murdering people en masse all over the border with the United States and Mexico. It's just crazy. This is the attempt to overthrow reality because they know they got beat. They know all over the planet they're in trouble and nationalism is exploding. And it's a bunch of losers that aren't even part of the power structure that are delusional and think they're losing their power. And then when you're informed, you're watching Trump try to cut taxes for poor people, middle class, try to bring back the corporate tax, try to lower that so the money comes back here. Globalists set it up to screw us over, trying to bring back our industry, and getting the Federal Reserve to begin to move, to get local banks to loan to small businesses that are 80% of the job creators. And then we have the best small jobs numbers and small business numbers since 1984, and other numbers are flooding in, and they're totally angry. They want to manage the economy. They want to dominate people. They crave the control, and they're upset that they don't have full control. I want to thank the amazing crew last night and yesterday who just at the spur of the moment went 13 hours live. Just the people behind the scenes are all the MVPs. I hate to say everybody's an MVP, but it's just true. Every gear in a Switch watch, every part, without it doesn't work. And we really are getting more and more professional, more and more focused. I'm probably one of the most unprofessional people, kind of the Walt man at the office, and I appreciate everybody putting up with me, and I just love everybody. And then, of course, you, the audience. Again, MVPs. Tip of the spear, spearhead, the shaft of the spear, the arm that throws it, the eye, the brain that sees it, the spirit that wields it. You are the reason we're able to do this, and we're a long way away from, obviously, being able to bring back the money that we had for the budget with this ad roll deal, but we've got months and months to try to do that, and I think we will. We're not going to give up. We're not going to give in, and thank you for not giving up on us right as we see such success. The globalists want to break our will. They want to intimidate us. They want to use us as a chilling effect to stop other free speech, and the big news is we're getting reports. Everybody's scared to say it, but we're getting reports from all over that other big libertarian, nationalistic, conservative sites are also getting banned off the ad networks by AdRoll and others. So this is a very, very serious time of intimidation, but it's because we're winning. So again, I appreciate you all. There's going to be big excerpts of the Ask Me Anything yesterday and excerpts of other folks that were hosting the show yesterday, and David Knight and others are coming up, and I should be live Skyping in at noon. But again, thank you all for your support. We're going to continue the specials on of the next couple days that are huge. So you get great nutraceuticals, great products, and support the broadcast. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. They hate people power. They admit they want to make everybody poor so they can control folks. A lot of times it comes out of Bilderberg and Davos. They're like, how are people in the middle of the Swiss Alps protesting us? We need to crack down on the economy. People have got too much money as they land in their private helicopters and private jets. So again, this is a free independent media. It's here because you support it. It's here because of everything you've done. And I want to thank you all.
We are live on this February 23rd edition of the Alex Jones Show. I'm Paul Joseph Watson. I'll be here for the next half an hour. And as Alex was talking about before the break, we're under sustained attack across the board every single day now. We talked about the Homeland episode yesterday where they smeared Alex Jones, the crazy guy who's half deranged, listens to him on the show. Last night, Colbert Report, Stephen Colbert, another massive hit piece against Alex Jones. It was quite funny, actually, but it again shows you the absolute obsession. You had the New York Times hit piece. Every single day now, there's a giant new hit piece because they know that we're kicking their butts. They're terrified of us. In fact, if you go on my Twitter page right now, as another example of these attacks that we face on a daily basis, they have a Vice magazine article where it's me and Anders Breivik basically saying, because I put out a YouTube video where I was ranting about, crappy reality TV shows, crappy music, junk culture, that means I'm on a par with Anders Breivik, the mass murderer who killed 70-odd people back in 2011, the neo-Nazi. Look at that. I mean, who is creating Vice's graphics now? Not doing a great job there. But again, it's this constant obsessive drumbeat, day after day, hit piece after hit piece. They are absolutely terrified of us right now. And here's another example of that. Whether you want to talk about censorship, which we'll get onto, free speech, security, character assassinations, financial attacks, as we had this week, across the board, we are under sustained attack from these people. And it is vicious, underhanded, and insidious. Breitbart has a headline up right now. Anti-mass migration firebrand Wilders suspends election campaigning after security detail officer arrested. This is, of course, Geert Wilders, the head of the Dutch Freedom Party, PVV, who is set to not win the election, but definitely perform well. His party may get the largest majority in that election coming up here in a couple of months' time. They found a Moroccan-origin Dutch police officer working within his security detail who was leaking information on Geert Wilders' whereabouts to a Dutch-Moroccan criminal organization. Of course, this is a guy who has a target painted on his back constantly because he speaks out against mass immigration, because he speaks out against Islam. He has got so many people who want to see him dead. Now you have someone from within his security detail leaking information about his whereabouts. This was clearly the embryonic stages of a plot to assassinate someone who is probably now Holland's leading politician. Of course, the left will celebrate that. They think it's great to violently attack and assassinate people now because that's tolerant and liberal. But again, that illustrates just the vicious, nasty nature of these people, what they will stoop to. Now you can flip over and talk about the censorship angle of that. And we're going to get on to James O'Keefe in a minute because he's fighting back. But this is out of FT. It's up on Drudge Report. Google launches robo-tool to flag hate speech online. They've launched a new software, Perspective, which is being tested by a range of news organizations, including the New York Times, The Guardian, and The Economist, as a way to help simplify the jobs of human reviewing comments on their stories. So, of course, they still need to keep the comment sections, otherwise their traffic would crater even further. But now they've got this handy tool developed by Google, in the pockets of the deep state, of course, where it will identify, quote, toxic comments and filter them out. This is what the article says, quote, Perspective helps to filter abusive comments more quickly for human review. The algorithm was trained on hundreds of thousands of user comments that had been labeled as toxic by human reviewers on sites such as Wikipedia and the New York Times. It works by scoring online comments based on how they are. How the comments are tagged as toxic or likely to make someone leave a conversation. Now, another thing that might make someone leave a conversation is if they get their ass whooped in a debate and lose the debate and scuttle away with their tail between their legs. Or, of course, if they get triggered, if they get offended by a comment, they don't want to respond to it, they just leave the conversation. Not necessarily abusive, is it? But that's the completely vague, subjective pretext on which they're going to censor comments in comment sections. Why are they doing this? Well, we've explained it for many years now, and there's a new article up on INFOWARS.com which recaps some of that. Why mainstream media websites are censoring and removing comment sections. Now, this is key because it ties into this new Google software. Okay, their trust is plummeting. Trust in media is down at record lows. They're barely trusted more than Congress, and they're losing their ability to control the narrative, especially given studies which show, and I linked to the study in the article, this is proven. Studies show that when people read news articles, then they read the comments below that article, they judge the credibility, the trustworthiness of both the content of the article and the publisher of the article based on the comments. So the comments are more important than the article when people make that judgment. So, of course, they want to censor the comments. And in fact, if you drill down into this study, which we linked up in this article, it says directly that the less civil the tone, the more, quote, toxic, which could mean anything. It basically means a forceful argument. The more forceful the argument, the more likely people are to believe the comments and not the content of the article. So that's why they need to censor comments in articles. Of course, many websites, including Popular Science, have removed them altogether. They just got rid of them, despite the fact that it, womped off 30% of their traffic in one go. And if you look at the reason behind why Popular Science did that back a few years ago, and many other websites have done it since, they admitted that they pulled their own comment section so they could preach, quote, a scientific doctrine on global warming without being challenged. So there were just too many inconvenient people in the comments of these Popular Science articles challenging their global warming propaganda. And instead of allowing the people who disagree to debate and for it to be a level playing field, they just announced, we're just going to get rid of comments altogether. Again, because the studies show people judge the credibility, accuracy, and trustworthiness of an article based on the response to it, based on the comments. So they're coming after that now. They're coming after, quote, fake news. Of course, not making the distinction that fake news is when people create news out of thin air to make money. It's not someone with a dissenting opinion about a news event, which is how they've tried to spin it. You have Facebook admitting last year they censored the trending list of topics to filter out conservative viewpoints and opinions, to filter out conservative influence on their trending topics list. Twitter just came out with a new policy that said they would censor, quote, low-quality tweets. Again, completely subjective definition, could mean absolutely anything. Of course, we know the people who run Twitter, the Trust and Safety Council, virtually all of those organizations are far left. Any technology developed by Silicon Valley to combat so-called hate speech, which is how they sell it, is going to have a liberal bias baked in. Not even a classically liberal bias, an authoritarian bias, because that is what the left has become. And they're censoring people on Twitter. They censored a prominent, not even a conservative, someone who identifies as a liberal, but criticizes social justice warriors and feminists on a regular basis, a guy named Sargon of Akkad, who's got a big YouTube channel, 150,000 followers on Twitter, gone, censored, banned. How many other people have they banned since they banned Milo? Now they're trying to set this guy up and say that he asked for child porn from somebody, and that's why they banned him. Complete BS, nonsense, libelous, yet now that is floating around. These people are vicious. These people are nasty. Again, they're coming after us. They're coming after us physically. I read the article earlier. Gert Wilders, someone within his security detail, leaking his whereabouts to a criminal organization. They're coming after us with fake news censorship. They're coming after us with comment censorship because we're kicking their butt on a level playing field and they can't stand it. The financial attacks, they're coming after us that way as well. Every single imaginable, underhanded, insidious, nasty way, they will stoop to it because, again, the far left has no principles. and they attack us based on the fact that we have principles. We don't try to censor them. We get out on the playing field, a level playing field, and beat them in a fair argument. They can't do that, so they have to resort to this censorship, this nastiness over and over again. But James O'Keefe is striking back. The CNN leak is taking place today. CNNleaks.com is the website. Washington Times reports James O'Keefe offers $10,000 award for evidence of media malfeasance. Conservative sleuth James O'Keefe is ramping up his effort to take down the mainstream media by enlisting the help of ordinary citizens to go undercover and expose wrongdoing in newsrooms across the country. He has released 119 hours of audio recordings from inside CNN. Now, of course, he's done it in a WikiLeaks dump style. He's dumped the entire 119 hours for people out there to go out and dig themselves and find these nuggets, find these clips. The media will not be able to debunk him by claiming he edited videos or audio clips, which is what they do over and over again. Oh, this is edited. Yeah, every single frigging video is edited. Well, they can't do that this time because he's dumped the raw data. And already some revelations are beginning to emerge about the real fake news. And we'll be back to talk about it after the break on the Alex Jones Show Live, Infowars.com. We'll be right back. We are back live on the Alex Jones Show. Just want to tell you before we dip back into the news, we have extended the specials from yesterday's Defense of Liberty 13-hour broadcast. All those specials have been extended and are still available at InfoWarsStore.com. Silver Bullet, colloidal silver, 33% off stock price, massive discount. Super Male Vitality, 25% off. Brain Force, 25% off. We have the Donald J. Trump and Ronald Reagan lithographs for just $19.95. Free Alexa Pure with 3 months InfoWars Select Storable Food Supply. That special is still available too. We're under attack across the board. We're not establishment funded. We're powered solely by your support. That is why we are able to remain independent, authentic. And that threatens the establishment, a truly independent, authentic media outlet that is beholden to no special interests. Imagine how much of a threat that represents to the status quo. That's why we need your continued support by getting the products at InfoWarsStore.com now more than ever. Going back to the news, James O'Keefe has dropped 119 hours of audio recordings from inside CNN. Already, some revelations are beginning to emerge. We have one CNN reporter calling Fox News, in a pejorative way, very American. That was the quote, very American, like being pro-America. I guess that's the implication. Like, that's a bad thing. This was the attitude inside CNN. You have another journalist giving some kind of talk where he talks about them not being impartial, basically saying that they're activist journalists. There's no neutrality. There's no impartiality. That is a complete ruse. We know it, but here they are admitting it in these secretly recorded audio tapes. There's another conversation where they admit they can't use polls from Rasmussen because, as we've seen before, Rasmussen polls tend to be actually fair in the amount of Democrats and Republicans that they canvass for their polls. So CNN on tape saying they can't use Rasmussen, saying they will use their own poll despite it being days out of date, likely to be completely incorrect. But again, it supported their narrative, so they went ahead and used it anyway. Those are just three of the revelations that have emerged so far. And again, James O'Keefe, CNNleaks.com is the website, and he's offering $10,000 to anyone who will bring him evidence of corruption, malfeasance, and wrongdoing in the press. Anyone inside a newsroom who has that kind of information, a cool 10 grand is on the line. He's basically declared war on the media. He's going after them. We're not going to sit back and take it anymore. These constant day-to-day hit pieces. We're going after them. It's time for them to be on the ropes. Let's move to some global news. This is Breitbart. Swedish police discover live hand grenade in Malmö Park. Oh, really? This is Malmö that all the leftists told me was safe, crime-free. You could take your family there. You could go on holiday there, completely crime-free. Oh, right, they've just found a live hand grenade in a park. Swedish police have released a statement saying they've discovered a hand grenade at a public park in the troubled migrant-populated city of Malmö. Again, 43% foreign population. Some areas like Rosengård, 90% Muslim, just a coincidence. It's known as the grenade capital of Europe, basically, at the moment, because they keep finding these grenades. People keep using these grenades as intimidation tools against other gang members, against local government. In some areas, it's complete bedlam, and that's happening today. Over in Austria, this is out of RT, you have a refugee who somehow got into the country, again, because there's no vetting whatsoever, accused of executing 20 Syrian soldiers. A Syrian refugee is on trial in Western Austria for allegedly murdering at least 20 unarmed or wounded soldiers during the Syrian civil war, local media reported. So he murdered in cold blood 20 unarmed men, wounded men at least. They just let him into the country because he was part of the moderate rebels, even though most of the moderate rebels weren't moderate, were actually jihadists that swore allegiance to ISIS, or at least handed over all their weapons to ISIS. No, let's just let them all in, no vetting whatsoever. Yeah, see how that works out for you. See how it worked out in Germany. See how it worked out in Paris, where they used passports from Syrian refugees as a means to sneak between the different countries. ISIS brags in its own manifesto they're exploiting the migrant wave to plan terror attacks. It continues to happen, yet the Democrats will not allow Donald Trump to get this executive order in place to protect America from that terrorism. We'll be back on the Alex Jones Show after the break. Breaking news at INFOWARS.com. Don't go away.
Well, let's go to 940 with this Ask Me Anything from Reddit, which they're censoring the hell out of. And they want Reddit because it's so big they can't defeat the Donald to just do what we say, be nice, kind of shut up, let us slowly censor you. Like everything else, we're supposed to just shut up and it'll be okay. No! Forget Reddit if they want to censor Donald Trump. Create a new one. Go, like Drudge said, go create our own systems. But while we do it, let them censor and pull everything away from them. Because let me give Google and Facebook and Reddit a middle message. Because Drudge came here over a year ago and he said, don't be in these electronic ghettos. They'll shut you down later. And I knew that. And I told Drudge privately on air, I said, we're reaching out to their slaves to wake them up. And we know these are enemy platforms. We're going to go in and dominate in those platforms with truth and bring people to us for this big war that's now happening. Let's go to this Ask Me Anything. Go ahead, Buckley.
All right, well, here we go. The top question is by Metamoose, and he asks, Alex, what is the biggest conspiracy that you would cover over the past couple of decades that even you thought couldn't be true but turned out to be real?
Again, the media makes great headlines out of those. And I was somebody that I wasn't like an atheist growing up, but I was so sick of going to church twice a week and, you know, yeah, guy in the sky and all this. And then I studied the globalists. I infiltrated Bohemian Grove. I covered Bohemian Grove. I studied the Clintons. They all are constantly in rituals and believe that they're communicating with interdimensional creatures, whether it's true or not. This is in the news. Whether it was, you know, Tony Blair and his wife, they get possessed by Lucifer every morning. That's in the news. And they get, like, the people that developed a lot of the sciences in the 1850s in England, they believe they were channeling all this. They believe that they've got to kill everybody. Let's get a shot of them. And then they'll get all the super technology. And I talk about that 20 years ago, people laughed. Now that's what Ray Kurzweil says. You'll be destroyed if you don't do this. Or Elon Musk says, you know, if you don't merge the machines, you'll just be an obsolete. So the big enchilada is whether it's true or not. The psychopath cosmology is don't have kids and live on through them forever. Don't be a good part of the human culture. Be so selfish that whatever it is, a genetic mutation, mental illness, a demon, another interdimensional, you know, Jim Big Booty from Buckaroo Banzai, whatever it is, they are saying kill people, enslave them, hurt them, rob the Haitians, rob everyone, and you'll get ahead. Just prove you're evil, prove you're horrible, prove you're ready to slaughter your fellow humans because they're a disease. You're this beautiful psychic missile sent to Earth to enslave everyone and stumble around. It's so beautiful how you're just this god killing everyone. And just it's so liberal, it's so loving. Just ban free speech, enslave everything. You're liberal. You're liberal. It's okay. Liberal. That's basically the big secret.
That's a hell of an answer.
You like that?
I love it. We obviously talked about this a lot on Pizzagate, but this is the second highest question. Bucks 2000.
Hold on. Last time I checked, Reddit blocks all Pizzagate leaks. So I agree with Reddit. I think you shouldn't say pizza.
Exactly.
Or even red sauce, or even tamales, or even any type of food. Like, don't say eggs, don't say steak.
Exactly.
Because did you see in the news? Detroit Free Press was like straight face. We're banning blackboards and whiteboards because people might write something offensive. That means ban books. So you know what? I agree with Reddit, the folks that run it, and I agree with AdRoll, the big new age goofball there and everything. I think they should ban. I'm not kidding. There it is. Let's put it on screen. Detroit Free Press, they're banning whiteboards because they can be used for bullying. But your voice, you got to cut your larynx out. We should do like a whole deal where have a surgery and cut the larynx out and go, now you won't be racist. And actually, they think it was a real public service announcement. Liberals would go have because it's like liberals. Oh, yeah. It's like pour, bleach in your eyes in England. They have you taxpayer paid. You have to pay for sex changes. They don't give you have a sex change. Just I don't pay for it.
It's like their fantasy is THX 1138. That's
their fantasy. But, it's okay because, they're the advanced intellectuals. They don't know the 7 continents. They don't know basic stuff. But the university bans whiteboards, next level book burning. And that's my video from today. But if you would scroll down, there was an actual article with a straight face, Buckley, where they're saying ban the written words, what they're saying, because it could be hurtful.
I read that. So Bucks 2001 says, Mr. Jones, thank you for all your hard work in educating and enlightening the masses. Your commitment to defending liberty and fighting globalism is second to none. I credit INFOWARS for helping me to become a more informed, politically active citizen. Here's my question. In 2011, Andrew Breitbart tweeted about John Podesta's ties to pedophilia. However, at times you have dismissed Pizzagate. Can you explain your thoughts on John Podesta, Comet Ping Pong, and pedophilia in Washington, D.C.?
Okay, here's what happens. Can we Google the British Prime Minister? The top police chief just came out and said it was a pedophile like yesterday or 2 days ago. This was on Monday. This is what the media does. They take when you're on a show 3-4 hours a day. Today it'll be like 7 hours. And I go, hey, I get people's point. I can see how you could believe that no one was killed at Sandy Hook and that basically it was all actors, it was fake because of what we saw with other fake things they've staged in the blue screen. They take that and just say, I said it didn't happen. When I had debates on air with sides saying it all happened, it didn't happen, they're so dishonest, they'll misrepresent. So over 10,000 of the hundreds of thousands of emails come out of Podesta, and it's like, we're going to have the kids delivered to the hot tub for your pleasure. They're ages 6, 8, and 9, and they're kids, but they're going to give you, they're going to for your entertainment. They'll be waiting in that hot tub for you. Obama won $65,000 of hot dogs. Oh God, they're so succulent. And actually, to Obama's credit, that's gay prostitutes, so at least it's adults. I mean, it's like, please just don't rape kids. So we don't find anything about Obama with that, and then it just goes into this, And then the Podesta's brother is like, we like DeviantArt. It's like paddled naked kids in his house. This is the Washington Post because the highest power for them is to throw it in your face. It's lesser magic for the for the vampires and people. It's a psychic vampirism to throw it in your face. So everybody then goes, I saw Washington Post, CNN, New York Times all one day about a week into this. Right after the election, they go, Pizzagate. They found some little link to somebody saying pizza, in there. And they went, oh, there's a place with David Brock's boyfriend in D.C. the Podesta goes to. Everyone's focused. It was like some little comment in a thread, like 20 comments. And I went, whoa, to the crew. Everybody's like, shut up, Alex, don't try to cover up. The crews were really liked up. They're like, a lot of the crews like, Jones, we're going to expose this. Why did you want to expose it? And I said, listen, the media is focusing on this place. I don't believe there's a basement. I don't believe it's happening. It's creepy because there's all this other confirmed stuff. They've got to have something to discredit. And I said, but you know what? Just don't sit there and agree with stuff on the web. You want to cover it, that's fine. And then it just went so far, and it was clearly a cover-up. And I came in, even before the news attacked me, and I said, I'm going to be attacked for this. I can see that. I can just feel it. And I said, delete all these videos. They're like, but they're not fake. And I went, yeah, but you're not covering, like I told you 2 weeks ago, all the admitted FBI code words for pedophilia and small children and sex and prostitutes, which is admitted. It's clearly going on. Don't you get it? And I'm not mad at the crew, just some people. And I get it. It was hysteria. The audience was demanding it. Why am I covering it up? And then months later, it's the info babe, Megyn Kelly, playing a clip of me saying, I don't know if Hillary really kills kids at this pizza place. I don't believe it, But I went on to say she kills them by funding ISIS, that is a satanic group murdering kids all over and selling them into slavery. And personally, she's funding groups that torture and murder. They edited it together. And then Megyn Kelly put it up. And I remember calling Fox. And it was more than that. She quit right after that. I'm not saying we did that. She destroyed herself. But And then she had him on like, Alex wants people to kill you. And the guy's like, I know, it's horrible. He said that we personally murdered them in the basement. Never said it. So I was like, the audience wouldn't listen. A lot of the crew listened, some wouldn't. And I knew we were being sucked into something. So I had to say, look, I was told by NYPD that Wiener is going to get busted for child porn. Came out months later. I've been told it's all over the country and Trump's going to go after it. It's happening. I've been told that network is in Pennsylvania and L.A. Notice those huge busts in Sandusky Sun. I went on and said, there's a big bust coming once Trump gets in. This is a big fight. It's how they control people. And all that happened. So now it's back. But I just can't sit here. They tried to sucker us in, and they almost got us. With what do you do when there's 10,000 emails? You're at Aleister Crowley events. You're drinking blood. They're saying, sir, we've got buckets of semen for you. We've got the luscious hot dogs. And Podesta's like, are these walnut sauces really good? Oh, sir, they'll be in the hot tub. You're going to love them. You know, it's like people going, really, hookers? I'm done. Kids, you know, kind of. Podesta's like being almost, as one of the CIA sources said, forced into it. I'm not saying it's okay what he did, but, you know, that's light years worse than Milo, reportedly. And then Milo's down there just admitting he got raped and inducted into this cult. They're saying, oh, he's a pedophile. No, he was raped. So imagine this is your pay grade you're in, where you've got to deal with all this, and everybody's obsessed with it. And I'm about to go on Joe Rogan's show. He asked me about it. I bring that up. His show, highest watched ever, biggest podcast in history, 40-something million views. They block it off Facebook, Twitter, Google for a week. So he freaks out. And they finally had the Streisand effect where they're like, okay, we can't block it. Well, then we had $3.3 million on Google last year. It sounds like a lot of money. That doesn't fund the bandwidth for a year, okay? IT for a year. I need that money. We're running that $3 million is like $200,000 in 1980. They come and hit us and say, you're fake news, you're hurtful, you're banned. I'm here trying to report accurately what's in the WikiLeaks. I don't go all the way saying it's all this rape and devil worship, even though they're at Aleister Crowley meetings admitting it's devil worship. No one focuses on the real thing, and then we're being shut down. So everybody wants us to do this. I get it. But, you know, what are we supposed to do? You don't see Sean Hannity. I'm not bashing Hannity. He's not one of them, I don't think. But the point is, we're not here to, like, just be able to just run off and just make crap up. And then, meanwhile, we can put it up. The British Prime Minister, top police chief, says he's a pedophile. I talked about that 15 years ago. All this stuff with Jimmy Savile, all this stuff comes out. Sandusky, all the real pedophile comes out. All the real pedophile reports. Nobody cares. People don't care if I cover that. They love some nebulous pizza place in a basement that doesn't exist because the New York Times went, the crazies think there's something in this pizza place, and then sicked everyone on it to make that the big diversion. Yeah, but it was also like in major British newspapers. There it is. UK police chief, former British PM was huge pedophile. Well, let me tell you what I was told about that. Let's scroll down. I'll read the article for folks. Look at those shark eyes, man. In 4 weeks since Donald Trump's inauguration, there have been a record number of human trafficking arrests. Who broke all this? See, I'm not bragging. We told you this before the election, including the largest bust in U.S. history, which received virtually no MSM attention. 1,500 suspects have been taken down. Hundreds of kids caught in slave dungeons, including high-profile serial child molester Jerry Sandusky's adopted son, who was a procurer, reportedly. Jerry Sandusky was arrested a week ago on charges of sexually assaulting 2 minors and sending Anthony Weiner text. And then it goes on, them grabbing kids out of Haiti, all the rest of it. But again, then all this happens. Let's get the Prime Minister. The investigation into Sir Edward. Yeah, it's down there. It's down there. Thanks. You guys are great. Investigator Sir Edward, called Operation Conifer, was set up in 2015. British intelligence wants to bust these people. Most of them aren't pedophiles. You know, people do some corrupt stuff. But when you start talking about grabbing kids, raping kids, and killing kids, so let me explain. The Renfields grab kids. The goblins, I call them, I've introduced people to that term, they just want to rape them. The vampires want to drink their blood. And that sounds crazy, but in all the devil worship and the stuff comes out, that's what they do. In all, Savelle is believed to have abused 500 girls and boys, some as young as 2, between 13 and 15, as well as countless adults, with unfettered access to Leeds General Infirmary, where he raped the children, including dead ones. Service said report he raped and fondled boys, girls, and women in offices and corridors. He officially committed sexual acts on dead bodies. and they found his whole satanic command base. I was told by members of high-level BBC broadcasting that they wouldn't join this because they weren't just raping the kids. They would put plastic out and bring like a 5-year-old girl they kidnapped in. And this was almost on a daily basis. And then they would slit at their throat, and then the British Prime Minister would do this. Now, again, we're not supposed to tell you about this. We're just supposed to sit here and then like, oh, shut up, Alex. The internet will always be free. It'll be there. No, they just hit us for $5 million. They go, what is it, 5 million or 3.3? 3.3 last year, 5 million on the graph this year. That is the money we have to be able to continue and have a cushion and expand. The point is, that's why you should flood us. Everyone watching should go buy Super Male Vitality and experience what it does. If it doesn't work for you, you don't lose anything, it's great. But I want you to take it because you'll love it. We have a 4.8, reviews on third-party sites. Get Brain Force, get X2, get Caveman, Bone Broth, Turmeric. Incredible. Talk about whey. This is 20 times better. Get the storable foods with the free water filter. Get it. Just flood us. Listen, if you want us to be kamikazes against these people and hit pay dirt and expose them, and I told you there'd be mass pedophile roundups 3 months ago, and it's all happening like I told you, then realize, yes, I'm a maniac. Yes, I don't come off like some coiffed, organized, focused ass that thinks he's better than everybody. I'm real. I have been up since 6 a.m. fighting. I am turning everything over I've got. I am turning my will over to find these people. I have a family that it can be, you don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. And then don't worry, God's on our side. It'll be dealt with. But the forces of evil have literally crawled up out of hell to stop us. And we're going to defeat them. But yes, you should take every article and every video, and every day you're allowed to share links as God sent, because the censorship worldwide against everybody is intensifying. Everybody in the conservative, libertarian, or nationalist, or virile movement, like Breitbart or Daily Caller, having their stuff taken away, and I've talked to them, they're too strong. We'll just figure something else out, or we'll try to work it out. No. That's the problem with patriots or men that are masculine who aren't pedophiles, is that we sit there and take this crap instead of saying, help us. Help us. You want us to help you? Help us. Listen, I have a responsibility to beat these people. I hate seeing them win. I hate seeing them get away with this. I hate seeing it. My flesh wants to quit. You think I want to run this big monster and involved in all this and put myself in this position? But here's the thing. Those kids demanded, those children demanded, and everybody now knows, from Breitbart to Drudge to Zero Hedge, they all heard me lay it out. They all know the intel's real. I told you Hillary was collapsing every 30 minutes. We caught it on tape. Millie was there, and we have it all. Let me tell you something. We're there, folks. We have the former Intelligence Committee people calling us. They've been on just yesterday. We have the zeitgeist, because in a world of cowards, there's still some men left. And I don't say that with pleasure. Like, oh, look, I'm this big man, willing to die, willing to go to the mattresses, willing to fight to the death. Look at me, I'm the best man here. We got in this position because men stopped being men and stopped admitting evil existed. So InfoWarsStore.com, quite frankly, $500,000. We made $1 million last day. 500,000 of it is, quote, profit, when we're already $3-4 million behind because of these criminals and all their slimy shit. Because we're not even supposed to be able to put an ad on the internet they own and control, because we're fake, because we don't sit there and grab kids out of backyards and rape them and then cut their throats. See, we are fake because we see who they are. So that's the big warning I've gotten. All of it. Just shut up. Go away. Trump's been told, shut up, go away. Let Jerry Epstein and his Lolita Express and the Clintons sit there and do it. Hey, you're not going to get off people's backs. You're not going to take the scalps you already got and take that an inanimate corpse without the prayers and support of listeners. And so my soul wants to fight them. But when you pray, when you financially support us, when you spread the links, it raises up my arm. And when you get enraged and focused with God's strength, then I get animated. Then, just like Trump, I can fire breathe against the enemy. But only then, you are the strength. You have the will, but you have to decide it's not just entertainment and you're in the arena and you're taking action. Well, let's go for like a long time. Let's take calls. Go ahead. Or let's take these questions because I want to get to these. Again, we're live. We're doing a 13-hour live broadcast till midnight Central because we're being hit and everybody else is hit. And they're all scared, I've learned. Everybody that Drudge is scared to talk about the censorship. And I'm not trying to laud Drudge. He's the one. There are not many men around here, which makes me feel like a bucket of crap, man. I want to be surrounded by men. I want bigger men than me to stand up for me. I'm tired of having to do this. I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I want some real men to stand up. Where are you? Where are you? What you going to do? I've been doing this a while. I've been running up against a bunch of the most evil people there are. You think that's fun psychically? But you know what? I think about the children, and I've got unlimited strength after that, but it makes me sick to see how asleep people are. Go ahead.
Okay, so Nala Spy says, hello, Mr. Jones, longtime listener, first-time caller. 2 questions for you. Any plans on getting an InfoWars person in the White House press briefing room for daily briefings? And second, do you think Evan McMuffin is behind the leaking and inquisition of Milo?
You talking about the CIA scumbag out of Utah?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy, just look at him. He's everything we stand against. I mean, I don't know. His boss came out and said Trump better watch his mouth. It's like, you know, that guy's a puppet. What was the first question?
First question was, any plans on getting an InfoWars person in the White House press briefing?
Yeah, you know, how this works is they turn everything into a big event like we need to get a White House press pass so we then finally matter. So first, like, we're junior, and when you get that, you'll be big. The danger is that we put people in the White House and they don't do their job, then we've lost our soul. So it's not cool to be in Washington. It's not cool to be up front asking the questions. But we have a responsibility if we have people like Jerome Corsi, 3-time #1 New York Times bestseller journalist, fought NAFTA, fought GATT like nobody else other than Ron Paul. You know, it's an honor to have him. And so I'm in D.C., you're there, we're there. I get run into by Trump people, and they say, oh, we love Paul Watson. He needs to be the White House correspondent. And I call Paul, this is my life. You want the whole full story? Because there is no, like, angle or spin. It's what happened. People always want some spin. Listeners get the fact they're just getting what happened. Figure out what you want out of it, because I don't even know. So I talked to some of the senior Trump people I just run into. I'm recognizing them from TV. They're like, hey, we like you, but we really want Paul Watson, because they get, you know, viral with the youth, you know, absolutely dominant, good looking, 6'3", you know, we want Paul Watson. So I go, okay, yeah. So I call Paul, get back Sunday. Got back Saturday, called him Sunday. He goes, I don't want to go. My girlfriend live here in London. London Bureau. So number one, it's not like I'm trying to get them. What they want's already not available. Because I don't enslave people and order people to do stuff. Paul's working 18 hours a day. So I say, okay, all right. So I show up at the office, and people are like running around like, we want to be it. We want to be it. I'm like, there has to be a process. We have to have an office there. And then stuff goes on without me knowing. Somebody files it. They don't live there yet. And then that comes back. And then meanwhile, Corsi's filing. He's moved there. They're like, well, we have 2 filings. So the news goes, Jones is lying. He was refused his credentials. And the White House goes, no, we've not got him yet. We're waiting. So the answer is, A, we don't need them. B, it's kind of a responsibility, even if the optics aren't what we want. Spiritually, we're pure. So sure, get somebody in there, which they're horrified of. So then I think, oh, my God, this actually makes sense. I mean, Corsi's been friends with Trump 42 years. They did business deals together. They met late last year when he was president-elect. I mean, they had, you know, dinner. I mean, it's like they're sitting there acting like, you know, but again, it's all about Trump being blocked by everybody, you see? He's got to sneak off to Mar-a-Lago to even try to call people. Oh, let's leave it at that. And so it's not like I'm waiting, and the problem is I'm not actually keeping my phone on. They didn't have big news out of taking out of that.